This episode of XIV Reborn is brought to you by Audible. For a free 30-day trial and a free audiobook, just head on over to audible.com/gamebreaker. What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 19 of XIV Reborn, the Final Fantasy show for December 3rd, 2013. I'm Gary again, and you're watching GameBreaker TV. Coming up on today's show, we mob up the details from the official translation of Live Letter 10. PvP details continue to cause some concerns. And when is a relic not a relic? Joining us first, you know him, is Mr. Happy. We call him Micah P. What's up, Mr. Provoroma? How are you?
I'm doing good, Gary. Counting down days on my calendar till 2.1.
Till 2.1, but you look like a little kid. You like all clean shaven here. You look like a child.
Oh yeah. I use some expensive stuff to shave my face to celebrate the end of November beard, whatever you want to call it.
Good. Kid's like 12 years old. And joining us as well, Mr. Micah Byrne, Magic Man.
Clean shaven.
Everybody's
but also
done.
excited about the alleged release of 2.1 in 2 weeks.
Allegedly.
Oh, hold on, Gary. Hold on. I'm gonna pull a muscle here real quick.
Oh, you patting yourself in the back?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. PS4 got a release date today.
It did.
FFXIV.
It did.
I don't know if any of you know this, but it's in April.
Yep. April.
Let's rewind 12 episodes ago.
I don't know what you're talking
Was
about.
it that long ago?
Episode 7. Burn says second week of April.
How did you come up with that?
It gets made fun of for saying.
How did you come up with that? Where did you pull that number from?
It was just the math, man. I went with how long the beta was for the open beta phase. Went with the assumption that the PlayStation 4 is going to be very similar to the computer, which we found out weeks later it is. And it made sense to have just a short beta. 1 month. Get it out on the shelf.
April.
Hold on, let me get these eyebrows down.
Gotta buy a third copy. Wait, hold on. I gotta spend another.
Well, that's your fault for getting 2 PC copies. That's your fault.
This dude went 1 out of 2 on the hard mode. So did Mr. Happy. I got the subscription count. I got the launch day count. What else? Can we predict something this week? Let's predict something.
All right, I'll give you something to predict later.
Go ahead, go for it. What are we gonna predict? Go ahead.
There we go.
Let's see it.
No. We'll wait till the end of the.
Are you gonna hang out to the end? To the end will be prediction time.
That's what you call a tease, brothers.
It's a teaser. Teaser.
Totally not gonna be good.
All right. Last week we talked a lot about the Live Letter 10. And at the time we didn't have the official translation. Now the official translation is up. This pretty much happens like I think every single time there's a live letter. Once we get the official translation, new little tidbits pop up.
Wording changes mostly.
Yep.
Yeah, little wording changes that kind of are important.
There's always surprises though too. Things you're like, what? I didn't see that anywhere. And we've got a couple of those in here.
We do. So the few things hit in the official translation that went up this week. First off, that Bard nerf we mentioned last week.
Oh yeah.
Not technically a nerf, is it?
Not really. I mean, they kind of said this in the in one of the questions, what they were actually planning on doing with it, but with the translation on the spot, it wasn't really clear, and they're still kind of not giving us the exact details on what it is they're removing from our abilities or our cross-class abilities. But I'm fine with that. I'm okay.
Are you good with it, or is it too early to actually even tell and speculate? Because
all right. Listen, if they said what they're removing cross-class abilities. That's what they said.
A change to cross-class
abilities. That's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
That's a nice way
you're getting at least one taken away.
Yeah. But a change it signifies they might add one in its place, and that's where I'm kind of curious.
This is true.
What ability we might get that's totally useless.
All right, so what's the deal then? Anybody want to speculate? Byrne, you got any thoughts? Do you have any idea what this change may be?
Well, let's go to the official quote first before I start trying to guess on.
You want to go to the official quote?
Let's go to the official quote and exactly the way they worded it, because I think it's important here.
Here's the official change. They said, "We will be making adjustments to their cross-class abilities. There will be no changes made to Archer or Bard themselves. Please also rest assured that we will not be removing their ability to silence enemies."
And both of those sentences are pretty key in this. The big problem with Bard and why a lot of people are claiming it needed a nerf to begin with isn't that they're wrecking the DPS meters. They're doing well, but they're not single target best DPS. They're not going to beat that meter. They can do pretty good. It's that they fill way too many functions. They could be DPS. They can be support with their songs and passing out the mana and everything. They can be the silence. They could be the interrupt and keep everything. They just fill way too many frickin' roles, and so they're making themselves a very, very preferred class over other people. Now, that makes it very clear we're not screwing with your silence. So you're still going to have that. We're not changing any of the Archer or Bard stuff themselves, so you're still going to be DPS. Which means, what are we going to change? Well, we're going to change cross-class abilities, and all that's really left is that last piece of your utility or support. So how do we best change that? I think Blood for Blood is going away.
Oh.
I'm usually an optimist, and I think this is the one case where, especially when you put it the way you put it right there, Mr. Byrne, I'm almost afraid it's not just Blood for Blood.
Oh!
I'm going to be the optimist on this one. I think you're only going to lose Blood for Blood, and I don't even want to hazard a guess of what you'll get. I don't even know what you would get as a replacement, but I think you're definitely losing Blood for Blood.
The worst case scenario. This is worst case, and I don't think they're doing this. I think this is just way over the top, totally unnecessary. Reverting them back to 1.0 a little bit. What were their subclasses back at 1.0, Mr. Byrne? Do you remember off the top of your head?
Hell no, that game sucked.
Well, one of them... That game sucked. Well, one of them was Conjurer. That would be worst case scenario, is if we lost one of them entirely and got Conjurer back to sort of go with the whole supporty thing, and I'm praying it's just Blood for Blood, because if we lose Lancer, we lose Invigorate, and I'm not having that.
What's the deal? So people who don't understand, what's the deal? Like, explain to me what the big deal with Blood for Blood is, and because Bard isn't on the top of the DPS, right? So like, why is it even considered to be OP by like a lot of people?
They've got an ability built in, a cooldown built in that already boosts their damage by 20%. Blood for Blood's another 20%. I believe it's multiplicative, and not. I don't know if it's additive or multiplicative. I'm sure somebody in the chat is going to tell me right now. But it's two 20% damage buffs.
And I'm pretty sure 20 times 20 is like over 9,000. I'm just estimating there. I'll work out the math later.
Did you do the math in your head?
Yeah, just real quick off the top of my head.
That's a prediction. No, it's not. I'm kidding. We'll wait for that one.
So you think
about it, though, there aren't any other options for this, are there?
No, not really. I mean, getting rid of Invigorate would be a little bit ridiculous. Getting rid of internal release.
Reducing the buff? What about reducing the buff?
But if they reduce the buff, that means they'd have to reduce it for... Well, they could just reduce it for Lancer and then give Lancer's enhanced effect, make it more effective. But then that'd be nerfing... Monk gets that as well. Yeah, Monk gets Blood for Blood as well, so that would be a nerf to Monk, sort of, which goes against the other changes they were making. So they want to make it very clear only Bard is going to see this change.
What if they just call it something different and reduce the buff?
They can do that. There's a lot of things they can do. But that's why, because it's only pertaining to Bard, is
placeholder ability A.
What is this, like a beta? Well, I guess. No, that was 1.0. 1.0 was the beta. That's why I'm kind of worried if they're only going to be making the change to Bard, why it could be something as extreme as a Conjurer subclass. In which case, I'm playing Monk. I'm sorry, Bard's done. I'm hanging it up. I'm getting my elegant fists and I'm going home.
Everybody says that too. Like, if you go look at the forums, it's like, if they take Invigorate, I ain't playing this game anymore. If they take Invigorate, I'm not rolling this class anymore. So please don't take Invigorate, because I do enjoy having bards in my group. And apparently they're all leaving if Square Enix takes Invigorate. Take Blood for Blood. Everybody kind of sees this one coming and isn't maybe okay with it, but can at least accept it.
Are you guys worried about this change? I mean, any other ways do you think that you could see them changing this in a different way or anything?
Blood for Blood, taking that away. What, we lose 20% DPS for, what is it, 15, 20 seconds? That's a little bit of burst DPS, a little bit of overall DPS over the course of a fight. I mean, a significant amount, but not so much to make you not want to play. Invigorate, on the other hand, is way deeper. It's way more DPS taken away, which is why I'm worried about that. If they take that away, then bards just explode down at the bottom.
That's the only thing I see too, as the potential for disaster. Is if they take Invigorate away, the bard becomes a position of sitting around and waiting for TP for obnoxiously long periods of time.
Sing K-On. Lose 20% more DPS.
But then their whole thing starts to break down. Their DPS, they usually lose their utility across the board, where just taking Blood for Blood away from them isn't really a nerf. It's just making them not as utility across the board, which, okay, I kind of agree that they had to do.
But man, you're kind of saying
you're too preferable.
But you're really thinking Invigorate's going to go away as well? I mean, do you think?
No. I think that's the worst case scenario thing.
We agree.
Any other possibilities in addition to Blood for Blood, though, besides Invigorate, that could be a possibility?
I hope not.
See, but everything else, to me, everything else would have to be multiple changes, not just one single skill. Blood for Blood totally makes sense. Bards already have an ability that does a very similar buff. It doesn't make sense that they get a second version of potentially the same thing on a different cooldown. They're on two different cooldowns, aren't they?
Yeah, of course.
You play Bard, so you got two different cooldowns for two massive damage buffs. It just makes a lot of sense. Any other change is multiple abilities that now need to be changed, and I don't think we're going to get into that type of class revamping yet, with the exception of Warrior.
All right. Also, inventory management was cleared up a little bit in the full translation.
Inventory is such a disaster.
I know. We covered the new items being allowed in the armoire last week, but a third retainer was also brought up. So when will we see this?
Not yet.
So is that the official statement? Not yet. Soon TM.
I'm paraphrasing.
The official statement is it won't be in 2.1, but you won't have to wait till 2.2.
Oh,
so
nice.
They're trying to throw that in as an item.
Now, is that third retainer? Is that the cross? Is that the account wide one that they were talking about a while ago? Because that's what I'm waiting for. Is the account wide?
That would be
Good
amazing.
question.
That would be amazing. But I'm leaning towards no. Based on the way they're wording this, they're calling it just a retainer, just a regular retainer.
Burns got no
Love
hope
an
today.
account wide retainer.
What's that?
Burns got no hope today. He's just.
I know, right?
Invigorate might go. It's definitely not the third
well,
retainer.
I mean, granted, an account wide retainer.
I don't think Invigorate's gonna go. Damn it!
Stop
trolling me, Cannon.
All right, calm down. Calm down. Woosah. Woosah. Breathe.
Goose fraba.
Yeah, goose fraba. There you go.
How much of a problem is inventory in the game right now for most players?
It's not one for me, but I don't.
Wreck.
I don't cook, so
it's a train wreck. It's
How
an
so,
absolute train wreck. Well, the sort function, if you don't, the sort that's in the game right now, not the one that we're going to get, but the sort function that's in the game right now only works if you turn it on before you actually start accumulating inventory, because then it just starts throwing things in all kinds of goofy places, where at least it kind of is intelligent. Maybe not the way I would do it, but it's kind of intelligent if you turn it on with your bags empty. So you've got your 4 bags, totally non-expandable. You can't make them bigger. That's just it. You're done. Then you've got your retainers, which you can have 2 up to 7. They have up to 7 bags. And then you've got your armoire, which doesn't hold shit right now except your artifact gear. So it's essentially useless besides that AF gear. So if you are playing one Disciple of War or Disciple of Magic as your main class, and you're not really interested in leveling the rest, and you're maybe doing one gathering and one crafting, you're probably okay. You know, you've got plenty of slots for that.
Well, how many?
But
what's the
people
percentage
like
of
me-
players like that? What's the percentage of players doing that though? I gotta think most of the people are falling into your P is like
Yes.
that's me. I gotta say most players are probably falling into your category though, Burn.
Yep, they have 2 hours before work, so let me try mining for a while, and then they get addicted to the damn thing, and then they level it. And they're leveling all the classes so they can get all the jobs, which means you want to get at least semi-decent all the gear, which means now you've got your armory chest full to the gill, so your armory chest is spilling into your inventory, and your inventory you're trying to shovel to your retainer, things that you're not going to use for a long time, but you still want to be able to sell things and move on. It's a mess.
So the thing is that I already know when you do that, several months down the line, you end up going to your retainers like, why do I have this?
Right?
But at the moment, it looks like a problem because you want to hoard everything. But several months from now, you're just like, well,
Why did I keep this?
Damn, I just made all this money. Damn.
It's just like right now you're like, I am going to make hundreds of these level 20 culinarian recipes. I'm just going to make hundreds of them. And then 6 months later, you're going to be like, why the hell do I have all these crayfish balls? What am I doing with these things?
Exactly.
Hey, you are going to get the inventory sorting though, right? That's exciting.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
You get sorting.
Yes. And it's
How is
a
that?
very cool sorting.
How is something like that
Cool.
not in at launch? I have to ask. Like, how are some of these things like overlooked? Is it
I
just
don't know,
like,
Gary. I think you're just being cynical.
sorry?
No,
But you're
totally
obviously
should have been
excited.
there.
It is. Well, I guess it's the small things, but I guess they have a window of a few months where the small things really matter. These little quality of life things. Because now we're kind of pushing into that portion of the game where people are like super excited about bag space and sorting and all that kind of stuff.
Dude, the sort is badass too. Minagawa-san has been like pumping this up and working on it something fierce. So not only is it a sort, but it also gives you the ability to prioritize the way everything will actually sort. So it's not just, okay, yes, click this button and I can magically put things in alphabetical order and stack them all up for you. Great. It's actually going a step further and saying, okay, if you want crafting stuff to take priority, we can do that, and we're going to queue things up the way you want them to. Pretty badass sort feature, if you ask me. I'm super excited for it, and that third retainer can't come fast enough.
Can't go fast. Make it account bound.
Right.
That's
gonna
that's
happen,
a whole
Bern.
nother step. That's a
It is.
whole nother
It
step,
is.
though. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. All right, I want to talk about Crystal Tower, but first I want to tell you guys about Shutterstock. If you guys have a YouTube channel or a website, anything online, you guys have to check out Shutterstock. So happy to have these guys on supporting this show and all the others here at GameBreaker.tv and XIV Nation and all the other sites we have. And I want to save you guys 25% off. All you got to do is make sure to use the promo code GameBreaker1213. That is the promo code of the month. I was kind of messing around over the weekend. I was trying to find some I want to switch this. I want to switch up the Facebook page a little bit. And I own a bulldog. If anybody's wondering why I have a bulldog, like, what does it have to do with video games? What does it have to do with video games? And I'm like, nothing. It's a bulldog with glasses, and it's cool. And I found it on Shutterstock, and I liked it. That's about the extent of it. That's the story. But boom! I did. I went to Shutterstock, and I just like started to look for like some fun, goofy, like, you know, vector artwork, and I found this bulldog with glasses, and I was like, I don't know what I could use that for, but I put it in a light box, and then one day it kind of hit me, and I said, you know what? We got to change the Facebook page, and now he's like our mascot. Or she, not sure. But that is just another way. You could, you know, you're looking for any kind of like icon artwork or graphics to spruce up your YouTube page or your website. Just go on over to Shutterstock and start doing a search and just look for vector artwork if you want to look for stuff like this where it's hand drawn, things like that, Adobe Illustrator format, all that good stuff. And when you're ready to purchase, just make sure to use GameBreaker1213 as your promo code. You immediately save 25% off on your account. You do not need to use a credit card to sign up today. Just go over, make an account, a free account, start searching, looking around, saving stuff. getting your new website or your current website or your YouTube channel in order and looking pro. Shutterstock, Shutterstock, Shutterstock. All right, so a lot of people are pretty upset about the Crystal Tower queue issue. We kind of talked about that last week.
A little upset.
Yeah,
And that was like the single biggest commented thing on last episode was this is dumb.
Yep. So we talked about how, there's 3 parties, all trying to queue at the same time. Basically, you can't make one large group. So here's the, because I know Byrne likes to get the quotes right out. So here's the official quote in the translation. I think.
This is funny.
Maybe. It's not working. I'll just read it.
Nice.
It's not
I
working.
was all waiting for it and everything, all pumped.
Let me see if I can get it to work over here. Will it work? Nah, it's not working. We may crash. Who knows? Let's just keep going. Says, once you gather a party of 8 players and queue up, the Duty Finder will match you with 2 other parties and form an alliance. We're working to implement this in the future, so please give us a bit more time. However, in the event you want to participate together, there's a good chance, if the leaders of each party communicate and queue up at the same time, that you will be matched together. It really depends on the application status of the other parties. Go us.
Us.
Mr. Happy's like, oh no, this one was all me.
I said that and you were like...
No, because I was mad that you were telling other people to do it. You were like, go to the, just turn on French. I'm like, shut up! Don't tell anybody.
Shut up. We'll just take all the credit. The show will just take the credit for this. But
All right.
yeah, who cares that the live letter happened first? I mean,
wow, I
it's
can't
the
believe the official translation is actually telling people to basically like get on TeamSpeak or something and like count down 3, 2, 1, hit the button. Like I cannot believe that.
Good.
That is
Party
hilarious.
Good.
That's actually the pro tip from Squeenix. Get a timer.
I had to reread it. I was like, is this another zoom your camera out moment? Did they really just, is this in here? I read it a second time and a third time. I was like, I'll be damned. It isn't.
I'll be damned. It really is what it says.
I knew it.
It ranks right up there with people that are having trouble with Titan. You just zoom that camera out. Just zoom your camera.
I guess the one thing that this translation does at least do is it kind of confirms that there's going to be a fix, that they are actually going to change this. So there's that.
Thank God. It needs to be changed.
I don't know. What do you think? You think Square's making the right choice here? I don't know. I think they should have left that part out of this translation, but they need to get this fixed. I don't know. I guess do you think they're making the right choice by leaving it up to the players to count down, or you think they should have just sort of delayed the Crystal Tower? Would that have been a better choice?
Only thing Crystal Tower, I'm wondering about Crystal Tower now, because it's in a weird spot, regardless of whether or not they release a 2.1 or at any point, where it's the next piece of content, but it's considered, difficulty-wise, easier than the previous content. So if they're going to be doing one every other patch and it'll constantly be easier, it means it'll constantly be coming out to fill in a gap, which is almost just a weird place for raid content to come out, in my opinion, to begin with.
Well, this was always originally supposed to be in the game for launch, right? So you could progress through Coil and everything a lot easier. This was that gap, like, sort of missing in gear. This is the gear gap.
But that's fine if it were to come out at the same time.
Right, but now you're saying it's going to be behind all the time. Yeah, don't you think? Are they not
behind?
You think? You don't think they're going to sort of do something to kind of get that back in sync? No?
No. Not the way they're talking about it now. They say coil then tower, coil then tower, coil then tower.
That is weird. That is weird. Yeah, I would have thought they would have gotten these both in.
Unless they delayed it, brought its item level up to just under the second patch of coil, that's the only thing I could see them doing. But even then, what did they do the patch after that? Did they not release Crystal Tower? That would mean they'd have to do Crystal Tower and coil on the same patch every other patch. And I don't know how it would work. So delaying it, I don't think would have solved just to fix the alliance issue. It's got issues other than that need attention in my opinion.
We
will get that patched in at some point. It's got other issues.
I don't know if I agree. I mean, if the decision was we got to delay 2.1 as a whole, or launch 2.1 with this stupid Crystal Tower Q thing, then I think they're making the right choice by just launching everything and dealing with it. But if the decision could have been, and I don't know. I mean, all we have is that Yoshi P had one post saying that yes, 2.1 could be broken up into pieces, but it would probably take longer to QA it and everything than they have already planned for 2.1. If the option could have been launch 2.1 but delay just the Crystal Tower because we think we can get this fixed relatively quickly and drop it post 2.1 but pre 2.2, I almost think more gamers would have been okay with that. There's a lot of content coming in 2.1. And as long as we weren't looking at 2.2 for Crystal Tower, but sometime in between, I almost think people would have been more okay with that than having 2.1 drop with the Crystal Tower and this little queuing.
I could see that. I could have seen them delaying that and kind of getting away with it. I think you're right. I think they
if that was an option, I almost feel they should have delayed just the tower a little bit and worked this little weird kink out.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of content coming, so yeah, I kind of agree. I think that would have been the better thing. Moving on, talking a little bit about the group content stuff, and how hard modes are going to be approached. I can't change cameras. I don't have quote cards, so you're stuck with this. We're on the razor's edge of blue screening and just totally blowing up. So I'm just going to keep going with
Everybody
it. So.
stays very still.
Don't touch anything.
Don't touch a damn thing.
They said portions of the routes have been changed, bosses have been changed, and the mechanics have been changed. You'll be able... Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
You'll be able to see for yourself when you enter, but the atmosphere is also different. Prepare yourself for a considerably tougher challenge than the first time around. They then go on to say we'll also be adding new quests leading up to them. You won't be able to take on these dungeons if you haven't cleared the originals, and the story has been written as such that something happens requiring adventurers to return and resolve a new problem. We will continue to add hard modes for dungeons moving forward, so expect to see some interesting stories leading you back inside. This is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this is actually really cool. It's a great way to bring this back. Not just a more like, hey, jump in and we gave them more hit points and they're going to hit harder and...
Yep, I mean, they have their own quest line, their own storyline that acknowledges you were there already. That says, hey, we know you went to Copperbell Mines, you did your thing, but shit's going down, we need you to go back, and here's what's going on this time. Oh, and by the way, there were a bunch of explosions, and there's new tunnels opened up, and there's new crap in there that you got to beat. This is the way hard modes should be done across the board.
I agree. It's so much more of an incentive, just from a just from an intriguing, mysterious kind of thing. Like it's not just like, oh, it's going to be tougher. Like you kind of know that, that's what we all expected. But now it's like, oh, I don't know. Maybe there's things lurking in there that I haven't seen. Maybe there's some experience. Like, you know what I mean? So I think this is a really cool way to do it. Got to be a lot of work to do something like this just for hard modes. They must really think you guys have nothing to do.
No, see, but here's the thing, though. They're actually being very intelligent about the design, for once, nicely, because you can see the potential for hard modes in almost all the instances that you've run already, because there's usually nooks and crannies and odd little places you can squeeze your camera into and see that there's pathways there, or that there's other parts of the environment you just can't get to it yet. So they're actually, at least it looks like, developing these as a hard mode and then going and putting in blockers to make it a normal mode and then just removing those blockers when it's time to launch hard mode, which is incredibly awesome. We already have fights, the extreme hard mode and extreme mode primals, that are going to be hit harder, more HP, a couple new mechanics. It's nice that the hard mode dungeons don't follow that same pattern.
Very cool stuff. Anything else hidden in the official translation? Anybody find any other good tidbits?
Just that they took away the word planned for December 17th in the official translation. me and Mr. Byrne had a discussion that doesn't say plan. It just says December 17th.
Yeah, it just closes with a sentence, and you read it, and you're like, I don't speak Japanese, but Yoshi P did not sound as sure as this sentence is displaying it in the official translation.
Maybe that's the date. You guys are still skeptical, though, huh?
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, that's a good word. I was looking for a word right there. I don't have good vocabulary.
Nothing would make me happier than to be playing this 14 days from now. 3 days after Live Letter 11.
Yes. Live Letter 11 confirmed for December 14th at a perfect hour of 4 a.m. Pacific. That's
perfect.
Perfect.
Gary's going to be up.
Great time.
Gary's going to be watching it.
Just Red Bull it up and stay up all night.
There you go.
Why
we'll
even
get
go
you
to
your
sleep?
Relic that night. That's what we'll do. We'll get you your Relic.
After
Is
we
that
get
the
you
night
to
the cash
30.
shop opens up?
Yeah, you didn't know?
I heard about this.
It was upside down on the post for the live letter. You had to look.
That was like an ARG thing. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, there you go.
So with the upcoming Live Letter 11, there's going to be a lot of talk about PvP in Wolves Den. Is this still a thing?
Oh yeah.
Yes, it's still a thing.
That's a thing.
There's more and more info coming out.
Oh yeah.
Veneer keeps answering. You guys call him Veneer? Vinre? How do you call it?
It's Haviner.
Haviner.
I actually reached out to ask him too.
Oh, okay, good, because he wouldn't
Haviner.
tell me. He just kept telling me I said it wrong. He refused to tell me how it was pronounced.
It's Haviner, and if he wouldn't tell you, there are YouTube videos of him at Square events where he's talking to Matt on different shows for E3, and he says Haviner. So,
I just want to call him Veneer. I don't know why. Probably my buddy's last name. Veneer.
I called him that in a video not too long ago. Like
Veneer. So he answered a few forum concerns in this past week about the PvP.
Dev team was all over the forums this week.
Oh yeah.
Hey, ready for some controversy? Get ready. Here we go.
Yeah.
First one is about player names. This one's got people all kinds of hopped up. The quote was this: says players participate in the Wolves Den via the Duty Finder. So everyone has the option to jump in solo or join with a party of 4 players and match up with anonymous opponents from across servers. This is your opportunity to test your ability and see how you fare against a variety of skilled players. While we're aware some of you don't like the use of an anonymous name like Fresh Meat.
Finish it.
The team has decided to go with that for now. And you don't have any current plans to provide additional options for it. Fresh meat.
Fresh meat. I'm hungry now.
Fresh meat. Medium or rare? Rare?
Medium rare.
Medium rare? Medium rare.
Yeah, right in between.
Bern, are you a medium? Well, rare guy? What are you?
I'm a medium rare guy.
You're a medium rare.
Good.
Like
nice and juicy.
Yeah, more of a medium guy.
Yeah.
So we can't say other players' names.
I love this game so much. Square, I love you. This is dumb. Yeah, just sit back, Gary. This is stupid on 2 levels, okay?
2.
On 2 levels. Not only is it just kind of stupid that you can't see somebody else's name, and I get why, all right? And plenty of people came out on the forums like, oh, this will help with trolling and, harassment and all that stuff. I totally get that argument. I don't agree with it. It's total BS, but I get it. The other stupid part of that is if you decided to do this, why did you use fresh meat? Really? Who the hell did that?
I wonder if it's something different in Japanese, if it's just like a bad translation. I wonder if it's like
fresh
translated
meat.
It's a different way. You know what's even weirder? It's anonymous, right? It's anonymous. I have friends who play PvP in my steed in Beta Phase 4 while I was trapped in the levels of Limsolo Minso. And at the end of the match, it gives you everybody's names. So if you know what somebody plays, you can still figure out who they are and harass them. So I'm more curious if you're gonna do the fresh meat thing. I don't care so much about it being anonymous or not. Just personal preference. It could be anonymous. It could not be anonymous. I'm impartial to it. But if you're gonna do it, why didn't you do it all the way? Why would you make it anonymous until the match is over when the whole point of it was the counter trolling in the first place? You can easily figure out which one of those 4 people was which. I think it had their name next to their job too.
That makes a lot of sense.
Figure it out.
Bird, why are you so burnt up about this? I mean, this has got to be the most Care Bear PvP thing ever in the creation of MMO, and I thought you'd be all over this.
No, okay. I'm not you. Oh, that was such a loaded question, Gannon. Care Bear PvP. Burn, you should like this. Blah, 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 blah,
it's a new genre.
No, it's dumb. Okay, it's dumb, and it's another example of what I don't like. Taking features that are intelligent or tools that are intelligent out of the game or blocking them for fear that a small portion of the player base will abuse it or use it in a way that is not intended. AKA, you can't whisper somebody or receive a whisper while you're in a dungeon because they didn't. Yeah, because they didn't want you to harass the dude whose DPS sucks. Okay, fine, I get why the rationale, but it's dumb, and it prohibits me from being able to whisper happy and say, "Dude, your positioning's bad. I don't want to call you out in the party. Slide over a little bit."
This is the most Care Bear PvP ever in the history of PvP.
Doing, this should be a small feature that says, if you want to show your name, great. By default, we're going to show your name, but we'll give you the ability to go anonymous if it's really something that bothers you. Stop taking intelligent things away.
But maybe this is the right move for them, because I've been saying forever, I don't think the Final Fantasy crowd is the right crowd for PvP anyway, because I don't think they really want it for most people.
I tend to agree. Yeah.
And I'm kind of poking fun and calling y'all a bunch of Care Bears, but you don't really want it. So I don't really know why they should have to implement it. And that's probably why they're doing it, is because they know the majority of people are kind of adverse to the smack talking and shit like that. But it goes against anything I think real PvPers would want. It's just it's like PvP light.
It is.
A soda?
It is. It's like a soda. It's like a soda. It's not really that good though.
It's that soda that there's always a lot of on the shelf because
you're gonna drink it, but it tastes a little funny. PvP. It tastes a little funny.
PvP. I like that.
It's diet PvP.
Maybe that's what they're going for. I don't know. This whole no harassment, all this crap. Why? I don't know. I don't know. I'll stay out of it.
I just hate that across the board, regardless of PvE or PvP, there are quality of life things that are deliberately being held back or blocked because of fear of what the minority of the player base may do with it. I think that's bad design.
He might call me a jerk on chat.
Exactly.
He might call me an asshole. Oh my god, it's gonna destroy
I'm
my
a big
game.
proponent of you deserve the reputation you build for yourself. If your name is out there in PvP and PvE and you're an ass, you deserve that reputation so that when people see your name, they don't want to screw around with you. Go away. If you're a good guy, you're a Gary Gannon, non-griefer Gary Gannon. Some parallel universe. I don't know where that one exists. But where the non-griefer Gary Gannon has an awesome reputation as somebody that's going to help out and be a team player, he deserves that reputation. Let the player's reputation dictate what they are able to do.
If I teabag Burn on the battlefield, I want it to be known that I'm teabagging Burn on the battlefield, and he knows
Gary Gannon,
and he knows
PvP
that
in first person since December 17th,
no, but
2013.
let's just talk about this for a second. Player versus player. Even if it's good-hearted, spirited, fun of fighting each other, when you put somebody down and they lose, the whole point is that you want them to know that you won.
And Chad is pointing out that Gary wants to teabag the fresh meat.
Yes. Does that not make sense that players, when they actually beat another player, they want that player to know that who they were beat by? This takes away all the attraction of playing the damn game, for PvP. I don't get it. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Diet PvP.
Diet PvP. It just tastes a little funny. All right. We already talked about the pre-mades in the past, only being able to match up against other pre-mades. There's also the post also addresses the skills and gear. Big concern here is obviously the gear. Does the current gear create problems for balance in PvP?
I posted a question specifically because of gear on for the live letter, and it was, So is there going to be anything to prevent 4 black mages from swift cast flaring somebody down instantly and making it a 4v3? Or are we just going to have to suck it up until we get some PvP gear? I'm looking for that answer December 14th.
Apparently, I'm getting teabagged left and right in chat right now.
Yeah, you should move. You should
Thanks,
move.
Gary.
You should move.
I appreciate it.
You should
That's
move.
awesome.
You should switch me and him so you're above him all the time.
I could if I could switch anything, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, for future references when PvP comes out.
Well, the gear does create a problem, though, right now, just across the board, especially at 50, because there is no PvP statistic on any of the gear yet. So it does create a huge disparity in the level 50 bracket, where fresh 50s are going to get wiped with, if the gear rolls through the way it is, are going to get wiped with 50s that have farmed Philo and mythology tokens. So I assume they did talk about special PvP gear. So I'm assuming there's going to be some type of, resilience stat or whatever it is that's going to make something specifically PvP. Because current gear would just be a mess at 50.
I just had a thought. I'm gonna ask chat room to chime in on this. I'll ask you too as well, since you're part of the show.
All right.
That's nice of you. Thank you.
Thank you. That's appreciated.
What do you say we just boycott ever talking about PvP on this show ever? Because I just don't want to talk about it. I just don't want to talk about it.
I'm gonna say it once a show, even if it's not a topic.
I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about it. It's making me so angry. I feel like I'm on the SWOTOR show. I'm gonna walk off.
Where's the box? Where's the box?
I'll get the damn box. No, this may be the first time that I'm actually really this is a just ridiculous path they're going down. This makes no sense to me. Sorry, I'm just gonna keep harping on it.
Could you imagine shoutcasting that? And fresh meat, cast flare 2 on fresh meat.
Is it better than Ilum? I don't know. Is it? I don't know. At least I could see people in Ilum and see their names and know who I was teabagging.
But Mr. Byrne, you were talking about a PvP statistic. While it's not on any of the gear yet, it is already in the game.
Yep.
There is already a PvP statistic in the game. Has been there for quite a while.
That's pretty apparent. So we're getting a PvP gear stat?
Yep, morale. Morale, it's called. It does exactly what you think it does.
Because that makes sense, right?
Yeah. Woohoo! Woo, less damage.
I'm feeling good. Fresh meat feels great.
Fresh meat feels good. What about skills?
Oh, man.
What about skills? We keep hearing that there's going to be some new skills for PvP, but
right.
What is this like? Hands burn a daisy? Is that hurting of point?
Is that what you do before you teabag them, Gary?
Yeah, hands burn a daisy.
Buy the flowers first.
And it hurts him, and he cries in a corner. Fresh meat.
Yes. There you go.
No, on the disappointing side, everything that I've read continues to point to, initially we thought, oh, this will be kind of cool, right? Get a couple new skills. That'd be awesome, right? But everything keeps pointing to it's going to be the CC breaking skill and trait, and that's really it. So kind of disappointing on that front, but it's obviously needed.
So Frontlines PvP is going to be a ways off. I don't know. Are we going to be able to at least duel in 2.1, or is that going to be
Oh, don't give me that. The answer is no, Mr. Byrne. Just say it. Just...
Maybe.
No.
But even if you can, it's only in the housing zones.
It's going to be a dueling of kind words. You can.
Yes. Let's have some witty repartee. Do you accept?
Duel with compliments.
Let's do it. Let's have a battle.
This is a gentleman's game. We are going to duel with compliments. There you go. Thank you very much, sir. That is a fine shirt you have on today, Mr. Byrne.
Griefer Gannon has challenged Buzz Killington to a battle of wits. Do you accept? Well, sir, I do accept. I appreciate your offer, and I accept.
Those are some fine gunners you have on there, sir. You look very dashing.
And he takes the lead.
Please send over our seconds. We're having a duel here.
Where's the glove?
Oh wait, but I don't actually know it's Michael Byrne because we don't. He's called very nice gentleman wearing a green shirt and glasses.
Fresh meat in a bow tie.
That's the full name.
How are you?
Fresh meat in a bow tie. I like that one.
Fresh meat with some smart shoes. He's ranked up.
Fresh meat with some diet PvP.
You're dash cunning, Gannon. Dash cunning.
Oh man.
Last week we talked about
Lucky
latency.
your morale is high, sir.
Oh yes, rank up. I just got a ribbon. Thank you. I got a morale ribbon. We talked about latency last week.
I think he broke himself.
How's latency gonna work for the PvP of kind words? Is that gonna work?
Oh, that's good news.
Oh,
That's good news.
Always good news.
Yeah, that's getting a little
Is that getting addressed?
revamp.
What
Yeah,
are they
we
doing
talked
here?
about it. We allegedly addressed this last week, but it is getting a revamp in the position checking in PvP, raid fights, and primal fights. So yes, PvP positioning is totally going to be addressed, and they're saying you should recognize faster performance instantly. So thank God. Good job on
We'll
that
see.
one, at least.
That is
I'm
some
waiting.
faster performance you have there, Square Enix. Your move.
Well played, Squeenix. Well played.
I don't know. I gotta really, seriously. I mean, P, I know you're staying out of this conversation as much as you possibly can. For all
Yeah,
the hate
a little
that will
bit.
get slung at you on YouTube, but
I'm
seriously,
down here just.
I don't know if I've ever been more worried. Well, yeah, I don't know if I've ever been more worried for player versus player in an MMO ever. I'm being completely honest. I thought I don't know. Is anybody else with me? Like, are you guys worried that this is just,
I'm with you.
I'll give it a shot.
I don't think. I mean, I'll give
I know
it a
you'll
shot.
give it a shot, but I mean,
obviously,
are you unsure? Like, have you ever been more unsure about PvP? I mean, does it worry you just all the way they're kind of building this out?
Yeah, to me, it seems like it's being forced into the game, and it's not a game that I don't think the player base is actually looking forward to it. I don't think it's something that actually needed to be there or was even desired to be there. So it seems odd to me, and it's not getting any better based on the more information.
Is it a cultural thing?
No, to me, it's an IP thing. Final Fantasy is role-playing, is story, is immersion. And that's what Final Fantasy across the board is good at to me. And I've never, ever associated Final Fantasy with attacking another player, shooting another player, doing anything like that. And so to me, I'm not looking for that experience in this MMO. If I'm looking for that experience, I go to a different MMO. On the queue system, if you queue by yourself, by the way, it is tank, healer, DPS, DPS. We did get confirmation on that. You can, however, do a 4-person pre-made where you just roll in with 3 DPS and a healer if you want to, but only if you do a pre-made.
And if you want to battle other pre-mades, you probably got to do like a countdown. That's probably how it'll work.
Yeah, no, that's the one where they will only match pre-mades against pre-mades. So
But
that'll work.
He's saying the whole Crystal Tower thing. Here we go again.
Right.
All right, we're gonna fight you, and we're gonna farm you for points.
All right, weapon
That's what
stats.
happened.
Weapon stats getting a huge shuffle. Where does this put the relic weapon?
Mr. Burns all pouty about his relic.
Am I the only one that feels like the relic should be the relic weapon? I mean, you said before show that's a Final Fantasy XI thing, and that's why you and I feel that way. That the relic, oh man, you got your relic weapon, holy hell! Right now, it's like nobody wants you to do anything unless you have your relic weapon and
+1.
Yeah, +1, and then now with the gear shuffle, AK's being knocked down a difficulty to be put on par with Wanderer's Palace, and that gear is getting a little bit of a nerf. The Allegan gear, weapons in particular, are being changed a little bit, and then we're adding stuff in there. I want to see like the relic weapon grow, and instead it's kind of like being left behind, I think.
With the gear, with the difficulty drops and all that stuff, what is it exactly? What does that mean for like the artifact gear, the dark light gear stats? What does it mean?
Doesn't mean anything for those. I mean, dark light is gonna stay the same. Artifact's gonna stay the same. You'll be able to complete a little bit more in your artifact gear before gearing up. It seems the AK being nerfed maybe people will find a way to do it just as fast as Wanderer's Palace, because otherwise nobody's going to visit it anyway, unless they need their relic weapon.
Then the Allegan weapon's changing item levels.
Yeah, it's really just the Allegan weapon going up and the Amdapor Keep items going down.
Do you think this is going to take kind of make the carrot a little less, sort of chased by players, with the relic not just feeling as maybe iconic as most players would want it to be?
Well, here's the thing. They spoke about the relic always being there for you. You'll be able to upgrade it as you go along, probably see different iterations of it.
That was some great wording.
Yeah.
The relic will always be there for you.
Will always be there for you. You can always upgrade it if drops aren't going your way. But I have a feeling we're going to see this trend continue into the future. When Coil 2.2 comes out, I'm sure we'll see an item level 110 relic and an item level 115 weapon coming out of Coil 10, or whatever turn they're planning on taking it to in patch 2.2. So I have a feeling while your relic will always be a reliable choice to start, by the end of a patch, your goal is going to be, it's going to be to get it past something. No.
And to me, that defeats the whole point of it being called the relic weapon. Because the relic weapon has an iconic status in the Final Fantasy franchise. So, to me, it just shouldn't be called the relic weapon then. I think the relic weapon, if you're going to give it to players this early, it should grow with the player in various ways as the gear levels up and the players level up. But
I like what somebody in chat said before we started the show. They said relic, as in old and useless.
Last week we talked about the extreme mode primals, that they'd have another quest line that led to a weapon. So here's the official quote we have. It says, if you clear all 3 extreme mode primal, you can obtain an item level 90 weapon. We wanted to add another option to the weapons you can obtain before obtaining the Allegan weapon. Naturally, we will have weapons for all jobs. What's the deal here? So Relic +1 is eye level 90, and this weapon will be as well. So I don't know. Does that?
So this doesn't make sense to me. This negates the importance of the relic almost immediately after you have it.
If you can beat them.
Because to do the extreme mode primals, you have to have beaten the 3 hard mode primals. So by beating the 3 hard mode primals, you've unlocked your relic, you've farmed maybe a couple philosophy stones, gotten it to your relic, or maybe you've even +1'd it while you're doing these extreme modes and having some fun on those. And if you clear all 3 of those, hey, we've got another weapon for you that starts with stats comparable to your relic +1. Now, can this weapon in turn be +1? We don't know that yet. It may not be able to, but if it can, then it's automatically more powerful than the relic weapon +1 as soon as you lay your hands on it. Oh, and by the way, you haven't even gotten your Allegan weapon yet.
I'm looking at it differently. I think that some people won't care for this weapon, regardless.
Why?
I just don't. I'm confused that they're putting it out there as another option when it's required you have beaten the content to get the relic to get this weapon. It's not another option. Another option would be, if you can't get your relic, go after this weapon.
Well, here's the thing. There's 2 item level 90s before your item level 95 weapon.
Yeah.
So people are going to be looking at the stats of this new I-90 weapon, people who aren't coming close to either maybe they haven't +1 something, maybe they're not playing. It's sort of addressing people have been talking a lot about how it takes you 5 months. People have been telling you if you wanted every single piece of mythology gear, it would take you 5 months.
Right.
Now, this is adding an option to take away 900 points. Some people may want the Relic +1 because it's got better stats, and some people may want this weapon because it has better stats. So it's almost, for some jobs, this will be the best option, and for other jobs, it will likely be that the Relic +1 will still be your best option pre-Allegan weapon. So that's how I'm looking at it, is they're looking at it to address itemization issues. People may not like the stats on their Relic. They may not like the stats that the Relic +1 goes into.
I think Burn and I'm kind of with Burn. I think we're hung up on the word option. I think it's the word, because option, like, to me, when I read it.
You are totally right, Mr. Happy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're dead on.
That totally makes sense.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, that's what it's for. It's just that when they say you have options, exactly what Burn said, it's like, well, if you're going to go for this, you go for this, or you can go for this, and that's not really the case here. Like, you have to go through one to get the other. But yeah, your analysis makes complete sense.
You're dead on, friend. Dead on, friendo.
Friend.
Fine
You
chat.
go.
Fine
You
chat.
go.
Oh,
Your
are we
morale
PvPing
should
right
be
now?
high.
Are we
So what do you-
PvPing right now?
What do you guys think this means for the relic weapon? Like just the longevity of it in the just within the game. I mean,
Should I say it again?
say it again.
It will always be there for you
Uh,
if you should need it.
it's like it's gonna.
I
Be
think
like
they
your,
should do
it's
away
gonna
with
be
the
like your
name.
your baby blanket. Like
I think
you're
they
just
should
gonna,
do away with the
snuggle
name.
up with it.
Relic, though, I guess if, like I said, if you're talking to us Final Fantasy XI players, relic is a far more meaningful word.
Yeah.
If you look at the word relic in itself, it just means a weapon of times past, which could be a great weapon of strength, or it could be a complete piece of crap. In which case, it's gonna be up to the player to decide at this point.
And obviously, Chad is shouting out vanity slot,
Vanity
vanity
slot,
slot,
yeah.
vanity slot. But you,
I've
that'd
heard
be
that.
like saying,
I've heard that enough.
WoW
I've
players,
heard that
go
enough.
get the current legendary so that you can use it as a vanity weapon. That's
I want,
All right,
I
let's
want
do-
glowy.
Everybody wants a glowy, of course. All right, let's do some viewer questions. Swifty from Twitter asked, "This is when are we getting DX11? It's DirectX 11 soon?" Question mark. And does Square Enix have any plans to allow level sync to a party member in general PvE content as well as Fates? All right, any word on DX11? Anyway, anything? Do we know?
probably when the PlayStation 4
Yeah.
version launches.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably around. I'm
Not
sure
confirmed, but alluded to.
that's
Have
a
we been
big.
seeing-
That's the first question under the PlayStation 4 section of the next live letter too. So I'm hoping we get an answer on December 14th for that.
Have we
a
actually seen
definitive
any
answer.
other videos or anything like that? Have they put anything out to like show comparisons between current and 11? No. Okay.
Nope.
Nope,
Can't wait to see
negative.
that.
And
I
for-
did post on XIV Nation prior to the show a video from PlayStation Awards 2013
Yes.
of the double screenplay for PS4, PS Vita. So if you want to go check out what
fishing.
that looks like for fishing and odds and ends, go check out that video. But nothing
so
as
what
far as
about-
DX11.
What about level sync to a party member in general PvE as well as Fates? Any word on that?
They discussed interest in it long ago, but we haven't had any official word since like 6-7 months ago. We're still waiting. They said even sometime after launch we'd be able to go into dungeons without the whole minimum player thing once server load had been taken off. We haven't heard anything about that either. I think we'll hear about those two things about the same time.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that. I mean, all the stuff they want you to run as groups, fates, dungeons, PvP, raids, they all level sync automatically, and the content outside of that is created in a solo environment to be a solo friendly thing. So no, I don't think we're gonna see that anymore.
I have a question for you, Mr. Vern, while we're on the topic of level syncing. Do you think that maybe they grouped the dungeons, the low-level dungeons, too widely?
Yeah.
Because unless level syncing also... Because in level syncing in Final Fantasy XI, when you level synced, you were getting EXP as if you were that level.
Right.
Do you know if it were... I haven't level synced down to too many low-level dungeons. When you're leveling up, it doesn't do the same thing anymore, does it?
I don't know, because I usually level sync from a level 50 job,
Yeah.
so I'm not gaining any
Somebody in
experience to
chat-
do a comparison.
Somebody in chat who's level 40, go queue up for Satasha real quick and tell us.
Let us know. All right, get back to it.
Let us know.
Next up, Night Chicken wants to know, will Burn get his final coil turn kill before New Year's?
That's
Has it
wrong way.
happened? What do you think? He's got a look on his face like it's happened. I don't know. I can't
No.
read this.
It has not happened, and I probably won't get my personal one by New Year's simply because of work schedule and Christmas and New Year's and all that stuff. But I think we may have a Game Breaker Nation clear before the New Year's, because there is a group that has the benefit of a couple experienced coil runners that can accelerate the learning process for some other GBN people and are doing very well. So I would guess that we may see GBNs, but we probably won't see my personal one due to holidays.
Last up, Shaky Weasel says, how long do you think the loot lockout on the Crystal Tower is going to be?
Half a week. It's my guess.
Is that
Really?
3 days, 4 days? Is that
3 days.
3.5 days?
I don't know,
exactly?
because just the...
It is
I don't know.
3.5 days.
3.5 days, 3.5 days. At JP midnight, Sundays. There you go.
So then we're going to have resets like all over the place.
Oh yeah, I'm leaning against it, but I'm just wondering if they're going to throttle gear in Crystal Tower the same way that they throttle gear in the rest of the game.
So do you think it'll be a personal lockout where you get your gear and then 72 hours starts ticking away, or will it be a reset Monday, reset Thursday type deal?
Based on your thing, I don't think we're going to have any sort of influence with the whole Monday lockout thing. I don't think it's going to have any sort of thing. And they have the timer thing. I'm sure it's going to be built into the timers thing. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I mean it's already there.
Yeah, for the lockout for your gear, they could just add it onto that list. Yeah, so I could imagine it being like that, just sitting on the personal timer thing in the bottom right under all your menus and things like that. I don't think they're going to make it that complicated. I think that I'm overcomplicating it and making it more complicated than it needs to be. But they have the option of doing it, and I don't see them doing it weekly. There's no way they do it weekly.
Yeah, I've seen weekly, which I don't agree with. I've also seen daily, which I don't think we're going to see daily.
What do you think they're going to go with, Burn?
I would go with 48 to 72. But since you said 72, I'll go with 48.
Okay,
that way we have a different guess.
Yeah,
I'll go with Saturday. One
of us will be right or wrong. Both of us.
That wasn't the prediction I was going with.
Oh, it's already got the prediction.
That was not my prediction that I was going to give him, but now that he has one, I'll save mine for another.
Is that you're going to save that for next week? All right, so that's
I'll
the
save
prediction.
it for next week.
Suspense. All right.
Boy, if you're watching on YouTube and only stuck around because he said that, you're probably pretty pissed.
Oh, they would have fast forwarded.
There's at least a prediction. All right, who wants to do the music for me? Michael P. Follow him on Mr. Happy 1227 on the Twitter. Follow Magic Man, Mr. Michael Byrne on Magic Man 1. Follow me at Gamebreaker TV or Gary Gannon. I guess you follow me at Gary Gannon, not Gamebreaker TV. It's not really the same thing. I am not Gamebreaker TV, so kind of
makes sense.
This is weird doing the outro without music, by the way.
Time to go teabag fresh.
So do we just walk away?
Yeah,
because we can't. All right.
Yeah, I mean, like it's pretty much over. So, all right, see you guys later.